I figured I'd do a little walk around of the truck since people have asked about it. It's really not that special. It's pretty normal. Just a stock 1-ton truck for the most part. It has a 8.1 in it that I won from Tilden Motorsports a couple of years ago. Works pretty good. Got a lot of power. Just a basic Dana 60 35 spline outers. Trail gear, trail gear creeper beadlocks with 4.5 inch pit bowls. I'm running 52-inch front springs, which is somewhat common swap. Pushes the front axle forward about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Of course, I have crossover steering. I have hydro assist, just using a ram from Surplus Center, nothing special. Running a Warren Xeon 12 with a Spydura line on it. And come around, I just have basic sliders, open-ended and everything. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to stuff like that. Inside, super basic. Cage kit from DIY 4x was the base. It really isn't braced up correctly, but it's better than nothing. I'm running Corbeau Baja JP wide seats, which, if you notice, has a really low side bolster, which makes it a lot easier to get in and out of the truck. The center jump seats out of a old body style Ford. I found out later it fit. Running an SM465 with a Offer Designs 203 205 doubler and triple stick shifter. I dumb luck and found the whole setup for $600 on Craigslist one day. It currently has bedsides on the truck. It's actually a long bed off a Cuck V that I cut up to make fit. And it's actually on top of my old bed that everybody was used to before, which is just made out of 2x2 square tubing. Very simple. Up there you can see the fuel tank and toolbox combination. The tank holds 40 gallons. I can get about 30 out of it very comfortably. The toolbox is fairly roomy. I modified the tank. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a factory intake pump off the saddle tank, cut and modified to go in. But I'm running a fuel pump for a 96 Vortec truck to have the proper fuel pressure for the 8.1. I'm carrying a 20-pound CO2 tank, and little tip, a 20-pound and a 10-pound tank is the same diameter. The 20 pounds just taller and obviously twice as much CO2. I always carry a full-size spare on the wheel. I generally do 5-tire rotations, even though it's a giant pain in my butt. I carry a high lift Extreme tucked up here in the corner of the bed, and I take my shackle, soft shackle, and just hang it there to keep it easy to find and out of the way. During trips, the spot in front of the spare tire fits a little 50-quart fridge freezer, Smittybilt version. Not the best in the world by any means, but it does work. This is most of the crap that I carry with me, as I'm right now in the middle of cleaning out and reorganizing for a trip I'm getting ready to go on. Carry a bubba rope with me all the time. Spare coolant, which just actually has desk cool in it. Spare oil, because 8.1s do use oil. 4-way wrench, various bags, zip ties. All my tools are in this old DeWalt container. Of course, spindle socket, fuel filter, various fittings and bolts in that little Tupperware, fuses and connectors and stuff, and some spare wire, electrical stuff. Inside that box is a spare fuel pump for the truck. Of course, some type of penetrating spray, some brake fluid, gear oil, and power steering fluid. Here we have basics. I have some extra high pressure hose in case I have a fuel line issue, some tire plugs, some U-joints, just various clamps and miscellaneous. a little siphon hose to siphon fuel, of course jumper cables. First time now I'm starting to carry a spare slave cylinder because I've had that fail on me before and it's a giant pain in the butt, so I'm just carrying one with me now. Of course, tree saver strap and shackles and match blocks and all that kind of stuff. The rear, currently it's just a 14 bolt, 410 gears. I do have a Grizzly locker in the back. I just put Bilstein shocks on it. The springs are actually 60-inch springs for a 1-ton Chevy van. I'm trying them out. My old 56-inch springs had broken leaves and just were not in good shape, so I moved the hanger again and we're trying these out. So far I've been doing all right without the traction bar hooked up. And the frame, which by the way, this truck is actually pretty hacky. Everybody thinks it's so great. It really is not. It's a pretty big hack job. If you notice, the frame rail does not have any kind of axle hump in it. That's because this truck was a cab and chassis truck. It had a 160-inch wheelbase. And if you look back here where the homemade hanger hack jobby stuff is, you can see where the frame went up for the axle at one time, and that's where I chopped it off. Underneath, I mean, it's not very pretty. We have all homemade skid, plated with 3/16. Of course, there's the 205. The rear drive shaft actually ended up being a stock front drive shaft for a 6-liter Super Duty, unaltered. It actually fits just fine. The exhaust you can see there is 4-inch. Straight through muffler, 3-inch off the primaries. The headers are eBay headers for a Chevelle or something. I had to smash on them and make them fit, but I did not want full-length headers because they hang down way low. Front drive shaft, homemade, shortened up, I think Super Duty rear shaft 1410 joints because they have more operating angle. And that's about it, really. It's pretty basic and just kind of put together. And it's been together now for 6 years, I think, which is quite a while, considering I really haven't done too much to it. Basic maintenance, stuff like that. Overall, she's pretty ugly. Dents everywhere. One of these days I may make a new front bumper, but it's really not affecting any performance or anything else, so it hadn't really bothered me. So really, that's about it. So I figured, what the heck, I'd do a little walk around of it, and you can see how ugly and incomplete and hacked together it really is. But that's really about it. I need to finish up getting ready for the trip I'm getting ready to do in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be going to West Virginia again, like I did 6 years ago, I think. But all new places, I assume. Jack Salone's putting it on this year, so we'll see where we end up. That's really about it. See ya.